All right, so we're going to be talking about how to create a little poster about yourself, and we'll start off with the text tool. First off, if you have anything on your page, just go ahead and select it all by putting a box around it using the selection tool. And that is the selection tool that we're using, not the white one, the black one. And select a box, just put a box around the entire thing and hit the delete key on your keyboard, and it'll be gone. So I'm going to use the T tool. And I'm going to drag a box here, and I'm going to type in my name, Mr. Gianelli. I'm going to select it all. And I'm going to come over here to the character information. And if you don't see everything, you can click on these three dots, and that'll pop up the rest. And I'm going to increase the font size, and I'm going to adjust the color of the fill color. And you can even choose different fonts if you like to. So I'm going to choose this font. And I'm going to make the size. You can go 72, and you can even go bigger if you hit the plus arrow. The up arrow. And then I'm going to go to paragraph, and I'm going to center it. Let me give this color. So I will choose under the fill options, white, and there we are. So if you hit the W key, you can see what it's going to look like when it's done. The other W key, pushing it again, will show you all the frames and everything. This is a preview, but it's good to have so you can see the margins and stuff. We generally want to stay inside this purple line. Those are our margins. We also are going to have some text boxes with information about us. So 3 to 5 text boxes with information about me. I'm going to create a text box again. And in a smaller font, I'm going to say my favorite movies. And then I'm going to do Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. And I'm going to do, what's another? Oh, Princess Bride is one of my favorites. And I'll just do one more, Vanilla Sky and Amelie. All right. So those are some of my favorite movies. And if you go back to the selection tool, if you double click on this little thing, it'll make the text box not, if it's super big text box, it's really annoying. So if you double click, it'll shrink the text box to that size. And let me just pull that out. There we go. Double click there. I'm going to hold down Alt. I'm going to move this to make a copy of it. I'll put it over here, and I'm going to say some other category. So I'll just say like favorite colors. And I'm just going to not mess with this right now so you can see. And then you have to do 5 so you can figure out how you want to lay them out, and maybe something in the middle. Then we have to have some pictures, and we already have a background, so that's good. So with pictures, you're going to use this tool, the rectangular frame tool. Draw a box where you want your pictures to go. And maybe for this one, I'm going to pick one of my favorite movies. So I'm going to choose Last Crusade as my favorite movie. And I'll go to images here. And let's just go with this one. Now you'll notice this is very rectangular. And my space in the InDesign is very rectangular, so that should fit nicely. It'd be kind of tough if I chose an image like this, because it's going to be harder to fit. So I'm going to just copy this image by right-clicking. Don't copy it from here. Make sure you click on the bigger one, copy image. And then I'm going to do an edit. Actually, I can just right-click, paste into. And you can see that right now it's cutting everything off because it's a very big image. So go over to the frame fitting button and just click this first one. If that doesn't work, you can also try content aware fit, and then it should fit it right in there. If you go back to the selection tool, you can change this if you want to. You can move it around, but do not do this. Don't ever squish your image. You can move it around, but don't resize it inside the frame. Let me get another frame for over here, and I could just duplicate this one by holding Alt and moving it. And that's probably a pretty smart thing to do. So I get a nice consistent size. I'll just pull this down. Okay. So I can select all these with the selection tool and move the whole thing down if I want to. For favorite colors, let me go ahead and just do one more here. So my favorite color is teal. And I kind of like this version of it. So I'll copy this, and then I'll just again paste into. Oops. Paste into. There we go. All right, so you're going to do the same thing to all these. Now, I would also like you to do some. You can also put frames around things. So if I wanted this to have like a frame, I could put a stroke on it. I can even give it a nice. I could round the corners, so I could say a rounded corner, and I can adjust the corner so it looks like that. However you want to do it. I can make the top part of the category centered if I wanted to. And maybe I want to give it a little bit of space in between there. So get creative on this. However you want to make it look is up to you. Think about maybe adding some cool designs. So maybe I could put like a rectangle in here and fill it with some color. Maybe I'll put some rectangles here and fill them. And maybe over here I'll do another one. Oops. Going back to the selection tool. And there we go. If you want to center some stuff, you can click on the center under a line. Make sure that it's set to margins. And then you can center it. So if I'm like, oh, I want this to look really nice and organized, so I'm just going to make sure that I center all this stuff. You can do that. And yeah, that's, oh, there's also like fancy frames. So let's say that I wanted to, on this one, give it a stroke. And I'll just go black. I could come in here and I could be like, oh, I want it to be dotted or wavy. That's cute. And you could even fill it if you wanted to. Although it doesn't look great with the wavy frames. I'm not going to do that. But you could fill these guys up. So maybe I'll say, oh, I want these to be filled white. And then you just select it. And you can adjust the fill, the stroke, the corner, and then you can adjust these things. That's basically it. Let me do one more image just so you can kind of see if it doesn't quite fit what to do. So let's say that I'm going to do also my favorite, I don't know, musician, and I'll say, I really like a guy named Radical Face. So I'm going to try to find a picture of him that doesn't really fit in this frame. So let's like go with this one. Let's copy this image. And I'll right click, paste into. And you can see I'm just going to hit the frame fitting button. It'll kind of fit him in. So do not do this. That's gross. But I could, again, move this whole thing down. I can make it bigger if I wanted to, so I don't see so much of that gray. However you want to do that. It's a good idea to hold down Shift if you resize it. That way you're not going to squish it. It's going to keep it proportional. But I could do something like that if I really wanted to. Just kind of resize it. Make sure you're clicking on that circle when you do this. If you don't click on the circle, you might just be resizing the frame. So the circle will allow you to resize the actual image inside the frame. The frame is going to be generally blue, and the actual picture is going to be orange. I think that's about it. Get creative, try different colors, different fonts. You'll notice that the colors are limited. If you want to try to make your own colors, double click here. And what I'm going to recommend you do is go to this, which one? Hue. And that's going to look more like the Photoshop one. So I could be like, okay, I want to actually go with, well, I got blue, so I'm going to go with like an orange. And you could pick whatever. And then click OK, and you can see that now that is that color. It does not work over here. You can't do that same thing. I don't know why. But double click here. It's the exact same as this one. That's the fill, and that is the stroke. All right, guys, good luck.